A detailed summary of Treasure Island. The story revolves around Jim's memories as he recounts events from the past when his father ran an inn called Admiral Benbow. One cold night, an old seafarer with a weathered face entered, dragging a chest behind him. The man was strong, dressed in dirty clothes, and sang a song about sailors and the dead. He requested to stay at the inn and showed his willingness to pay. Jim became fascinated with the mysterious sailor, who spent most of his time gazing at the sea. Despite his strange behavior, the captain began to draw customers to the inn, telling terrifying tales of life at sea, which frightened the guests and increased demand for the inn. As time passed, Jim started to feel uneasy about the captain, especially after he warned him about a one-legged man. The captain refused to pay his bill, which worried Jim's father, who was seriously ill. During a break, while the doctor was having dinner and speaking to another guest in the hall, waiting for his horse, the captain signaled for silence, and everyone stopped talking except the doctor, who continued his conversation. The captain interrupted him, saying, "Silence!" The doctor replied that he would not listen to ruffians. The captain became angry and threatened to draw his knife, while the doctor stood firm, warning him that he would intervene if he didn't put it away. They exchanged fierce looks, but the captain eventually backed down and sat sulking. The doctor assured that he would keep an eye on the captain, as he was not only a physician but also a magistrate, warning him of consequences if he heard any complaints. Soon after, the doctor mounted his horse and left, while the captain remained silent for the rest of the evening and several nights after. In the end, the captain stayed at the inn as things became more complicated with the appearance of old enemies from his past. Jim's father's condition worsened, leaving him and his mother busy running the inn without paying attention to the captain. One cold January morning, the captain, seemingly affected by the doctor's earlier insult, appeared. As he prepared to go to the shore, a strange man with pale features entered, asking about his friend, Bill. The narrator informs him that the captain lives at the inn. It turns out that this strange man is Black Dog, and he plans to confront the captain. When the captain appears, a violent quarrel erupts between them, resulting in Black Dog being injured. Despite his wound, Black Dog ran into the open, as if it were his only refuge. The captain watched him in astonishment before suddenly collapsing. His mother rushed to help him, and the doctor arrived, discovering that the captain had suffered a stroke. The doctor requested water and began treating him, but the captain was at risk of another stroke that could be fatal. The next time I saw the captain, he was trying to get out of bed, begging me to come closer. He whispered to me, pleading that he could not stay in bed and was receiving the black spot, a sign of impending death. He mentioned that someone was tracking his chest and that he had been Flint's first mate, the only one who knew the treasure's location, but he lost consciousness before revealing more. My father died that night, and I did not think of the captain. During the funeral, the captain acted strangely, singing and shouting while we mourned. The next day, a blind man leaning on a cane approached me, asking to be taken to the captain. When I brought him to the inn, the captain was in a state of extreme terror. The blind man instructed me to extend the captain's hand and gave him something before quickly leaving. The captain regained consciousness and shouted that he had only 6 hours left, but soon he collapsed at my feet and died. Although I had never liked him, I burst into tears. This was the second death I had witnessed in 2 days. I informed my mother of what had happened, and we realized that sailors would come searching for the captain's chest. We decided to escape to the nearest town for help, but the townsfolk were afraid of Captain Flint and refused to assist us. I received a loaded pistol and we returned to the inn, locking the door tightly behind us. I discovered a paper in the captain's pocket, noting a deadline, and since it was 6 o'clock, we had some time. I searched for the key and found it hanging around the captain's neck. We opened his chest to find new clothes, pistols, gold, and old papers. When we heard the blind man's approach, my mother decided to take whatever she could. We prepared to leave quickly, but while we were on our way, my mother felt dizzy and fainted. I dragged her to safety, while the sounds around us increased. Feeling fear and curiosity, I emerged from my hiding place under the bridge to find my enemies led by the blind man. He ordered them to open the door, and when they entered our inn, one of them shouted that Captain Bill was dead. The blind man instructed the men to search for the key in his corpse, escalating the chaos. As they searched, they began to hear the sound of approaching police officers, causing them concern. The blind man urged them to find me, and they spread out throughout the inn. In the midst of the chaos, they began to fight, but soon they heard the sound of horse hooves and gunfire. When the police arrived, the pirates fled in all directions, but the blind man could not escape and fell beneath the horse's feet. The police managed to assess the situation, but the pirates escaped in a small boat. My mother regained consciousness in the inn, but Blind Pew had met his end. We decided to take the important papers I had kept to Dr. Livesey for safekeeping from the pirates. The constable helped me mount a horse, and I rode out into the darkness of the night. I had difficulty reaching Dr. Livesey's house, where he was having dinner with nobleman John Trelawney. After being ushered into the library, Trelawney showed great interest in the contents of the scroll I had brought. He was eager to learn more about Captain Flint, the notorious pirate. They decided to open the scroll, discovering a book containing records of the treasures Flint had seized, along with a map indicating the treasure's location. The map included notes detailing a significant part of the treasure on Skeleton Island. Trelawney expressed great excitement and announced his plans to sail in search of the treasure, forming a crew of men. However, Dr. Livesey voiced his concern that Trelawney might reveal the secrets of the voyage, especially with pirates lurking. They all agreed on the necessity of keeping the matter secret until the ship was ready. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the second part.